Hey there! Welcome to our channel. Smash that like button and subscribe for more fun. The Haunted Wedding Drum. This is the story of a young man from a village in Ghana who went to the forest to get a drum for his wedding, only to find a magical drum that brought laughter to the village but also put its player under a deadly curse. Our story begins with a young man called Kwame. Now, Kwame was the kind of guy who was always playing jokes on people. He was known throughout the village as the funniest guy around. But one day he decided that he wanted to settle down and get married. So he went to the forest to fetch a drum for his wedding. Now, according to tradition, the drum had to be exactly 3 feet tall and 3 feet wide. And when he found a suitable tree, he marked it, set up his tools, and started to chop. But after just one hit, the tree started bleeding. Kwame was scared at first, but then he thought to himself, well, it's just a tree. What's the worst that could happen? So he continued chopping until the tree fell down. He cut off its head, hollowed out the body, and made it into a beautiful drum. Then he put some skin on it and tightened it up with rope. Finally, he took it to the village and put it on the market square. And this is where our story takes an unexpected turn, because soon the entire village was gathered around the drum, clapping and singing and dancing. Then Kwame stepped forward and asked the village elder to give him a stool so he could play a song for them. But before he could make any sound, the drum began to move on its own, like it had a mind of its own. The villagers were stunned and frightened as they watched it move closer and closer to Kwame. Then all of a sudden, it started beating itself, and beat after beat, Kwame felt more and more strength leave his body. And before he knew it, he had turned into a tiny mouse and darted away into the bushes. And that is how we learned that this drum was no ordinary drum. It was haunted by the spirit of an old woman who had been chopped up inside it. Some said she was a witch who had been killed by her own son. Others said she was just an innocent herbalist who had been caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. All we know is that her spirit now inhabits this drum, and anyone who plays it risks becoming her next victim. But there is one person in the village who isn't afraid of the drum, and that's Kwame's fiancée, Amma. You see, Amma is one of the bravest young women in the village, but not many people know that she's also secretly in love with Kwame, even though he has no idea. She spends all her free time making him little gifts, like jewelry and ornaments, all in the hopes that one day he will notice her. But now that Kwame has been taken by the drum spirit, Amma knows that she has to do something. If she can't save him, then who will? So she goes to the wisest person in the village, old Nana Ya, who is also known as the village storyteller. She tells Nana Ya everything that has happened and asks for help, but Nana Ya just shakes her head and says, "You are too late. The drum has already chosen its player, and no one can escape its deadly game." Amma doesn't believe her, though, and insists that there must be something they can do. So Nana Ya tells her to go to the forest and find 3 special leaves that have magical healing powers. When Amma finds the leaves, she makes a tea with them and brings it back to the village. Then she pours some of the tea into the drum, and suddenly it stops moving. Slowly but surely, the drum spirit's hold over the village starts to fade, and the people begin to come out of their hiding places. When they see Kwame lying on the ground, they think that he's dead, but then he slowly starts to stir. He looks around in confusion and sees all the villagers staring at him. And that's when he realizes that he's been turned into a mouse. Amma rushes to his side and tells him that she loves him, and in that moment, Kwame realizes that he loves her too. They embrace, and just like that, the curse is broken. Kwame is back to his normal size, and the drum returns to being just an ordinary drum. From that day on, Kwame and Amma were inseparable. They got married with the blessing of the entire village and lived happily ever after. As for the haunted drum, it was never played again. It was too dangerous, and no one wanted to risk becoming its next victim. And that, my friends, is the story of the haunted wedding drum. The end.